welcome to the podcast, Lindsey with Idaho Tipsy Trailers.
Hi, thank you.
How did that name come about? Because wasn't it Tilly?
It was Tilly, yes. And where that came from, I don't really know. My mom and I were sitting around on the porch one day, and it was a cute name. So nobody knows who Tilly is. I always get that question. But anyways, as we grew, I kind of transitioned to Idaho Tipsy Trailers as our little fleet kind of grew. So,
Love that.
yeah.
Congrats on being Idaho Bride's favorite bar service.
Thank
How does
you.
that make you feel?
It's amazing. Thank you. No, I mean, it feels really good. It feels great to have, the support of not only clients, but our frienders and family and friends. So
Frienders.
our little frienders. Yeah. Our little community.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you weren't doing wedding services or events, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. That's tough. I would like to say I'd still be project manager for LA Fashion Week. It was my dream job, but that means I wouldn't be in Boise. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'd have to just be like maybe stay-at-home mom and not have to work. How about that?
It is a nice life.
Yeah, right.
What is one thing your clients would say about working with you?
Gosh, hopefully they would say that we're approachable, and friendly, but also professional, best of both worlds, hopefully.
Yeah. What does your dream wedding look like as a vendor?
Gosh, well, I mean, this is tough because I could answer it as a coordinator or I could answer it as a bar service. I'm going to answer as bar service because that's what we're talking about. I would say dream wedding would be like, I have one coming up. I think it actually is coming up. It's going to be in Driggs, Idaho. And it's like this ranch wedding in the middle of a field. They have nothing. So they're like building this incredible event from nothing. But they're doing like all craft cocktails. And they have like a staff of 10 that they want. And they've got like beautiful glassware and like shelves. And they're going to have 3 different bar stations. So I'm just going to be this like extravagant thing. So I'm pretty excited. So I think, yeah.
What's your favorite cocktail to make?
Oh, gosh. I mean, there's plenty that I like to make. But when you're behind the bar and you have 200 people waiting, like literally after a ceremony, because a lot of brides don't want to do drinks before. So you've got like 200 people waiting. So I really don't like to make any of them at that point. I want something fast and quick, but delicious. But no, I mean, if I have the time, I mean a good traditional, well-made, crafted, old-fashioned for a wedding.
I don't think I've ever had an old-fashioned.
Nah, you gotta like bourbon or whiskey to, be able to enjoy it. So, I mean, it's a acquired taste. If not, I would say like a bee's knees or like a French 75 is really nice.
Your favorite drink for like a spring wedding?
Spring wedding. Probably like an Aperol Spritz or something light that is gonna keep people, in line.
Yeah.
Not get too crazy. So yeah, I'd say spritz, nice and refreshing and light.
Have you ever had somebody get too crazy?
Absolutely. And not by our fault. I mean, we always run in as a alcohol vendor. You always run it. I would say our biggest problem is people bringing in outside alcohol. So if people are doing that, like obviously we have no idea how much people are drinking. So there have been times when, yes, there's been like rowdy, crazy things that happen because they're like boozing in the groom's room or something, So yes, we could talk for hours about the ridiculous stories.
You had one that sticks out?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I guess out at where was it? At Willow Grove out in Emmett, there was this kid and I was like, I'm gonna serve him one drink. I serve him one drink and he comes back and he's like hammered. And I was like, okay, like obviously he's been drinking elsewhere. So I was like, sorry, man, like I can't serve you anymore. And then he comes back like 10 minutes later. He's like, what about now? And he's got his tie like tied around his head. And I'm like, obviously you're hammered. It's like 6 p.m.
Oh no.
And I was so hot. I was like 105. And so anyways, he's like, I was like, you can have water. That's all you can have right now. Well, next thing I know, he's like face dunking into like the galvanized tubs of ice water, like melted ice to like cool himself off. But he dove so aggressively into it because he was so hammered that he like smashed his face. And then he's bleeding. And this is like, he was either the best man or he was one of the groomsmen. But so then he's got like blood all over his shirt. And it was just like this whole spectacle. And so, yeah, stuff like that,
Yeah.
always. entertaining things like that happening.
Like, what do you even do at that point? Like, luckily it's after the ceremony, but I mean, hopefully it was at least after pictures.
Well, I mean, I felt very validated, obviously. I was like, well, I was right to cut him off. And I think at that point, you know, family and friends kind of picked up the pieces and made me, you know, supported me in my decision making and getting him out of there and cleaned up. But yeah.
Have you ever had people that are like, why don't you just give him alcohol?
Absolutely. All the time.
Geez.
People, I don't know what it is. Like, people have this mentality that just because we're mobile, that it's completely different than walking into a bar, like downtown. If you go downtown and you don't have your ID, you're not allowed in. You don't get service. But for us, if you don't have your ID, it's like, what, really? Like, we're at a wedding. Or if we're in the middle of nowhere, like in a field, or at like Longhorn Guest Ranch, like up in, you know, Cascade. Obviously, like, I hate IDing people in the middle of a field, but yes, like, people get upset. So I don't know where there's like this gap in between, you know, like the mobile part of it and brick and mortar bars, but people seem to think that we have more leeway, which is absolutely not the case.
Yeah.
So
that is interesting.
yeah.
I guess, do you have any go-to traditions or rituals that you follow before each wedding?
Gosh, you know, I read that question beforehand. I cheated on that. And I was like, I got nothing. I mean, I just like, at least for like bar setup, no, I mean, I just turn on some jams and just kind of get ready and zen and before the crazy.
Do you have any like specific songs that you like to listen to, like hype songs?
Gosh, I mean, my hype songs are so lame. They're like, I don't know, like Zach Bryan and, you know, like moody, weird country, like offbeat country.
Yeah. Zach Bryan.
But it really goes with my vibe of my brand too, which is perfect. So, you know, it works.
That's awesome. So I know that you do coordinating and bartending. How did that combination come about?
So coordinating came first. So I started Idaho Concierge in started in 2017 and then officially like in 2018. And I guess, so my concierge company is more geared towards like personal errand running and corporate housing inspections and walkthroughs and cable waits and basically like doing things that people don't want to do to save them time. Well, so that people had a hard time grasping the idea of that as a business. And I mean, I networked like crazy. I was an ambassador for the Boise Metro Chamber. I was part of like Boise Young Professionals. I mean, I networked like crazy and business just like didn't really pick up. So my brother was like, well, why don't you just try, you know, you have a background in event planning with LA Fashion Week. He's like, why don't you do that and do weddings here? I was like, oh, okay, well, fine. So then I fell into like starting to do day of coordination. I started at the bottom and was charging like $500 for like 12 hours of like crazy work. And I have like good work ethic. So good for those people that got me in the first, you know, like year or two of work. So anyways, I started there and then, I just, like I said, I was drinking wine one day with my mom and we saw an idea, kind of like the horse trailer bar conversion. And my mom and I were like, oh, that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. And so we did. And then what turned from like a side hustle fun idea has like now taken over my life. So
how many trailers do you guys have?
So we have Dixie. Well, it started with Tilly. So we have Tilly, the Tipsy Trailer. We have Dixie, the Tipsy Trailer. And then we have Bev, the beverage cart. So she's like a 125-year-old beverage cart that I restored. I like to say that she got like a Joan Rivers facelift and now she likes to party because she's old AF. And then we've got our satellite bar, Stanley, the satellite bar. And then
Is he in Stanley?
No, but he does go to Stanley. And then we have Benny the Barrel Bar, which is like a wine bar setup. And yeah, always looking to kind of build our fleet. I'm like looking at trailers right now. There was one in New York and I was like, oh, I should go to New York and just like drive this home and buy it. It's like, control yourself. I don't need any more. Like I'm so busy already. So.
But it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you come up with the names?
I have no idea.
You just see it.
Wine. I don't know.
That's fair. How do you approach weddings differently than other vendors who provide the same service?
I mean, I would say honestly, like when it comes to the mobile bar community, like we're pretty tight knit. Like we are more collaborative, like over competitive. So I mean, in all honesty, we kind of all provide the same things. It's just, you know, what level they're provided at. So I would say that's kind of what sets us apart. is the level of service that they're going to get with us. We're not just going to like sit behind the bar and like hang out while there's, like dirty glassware all over. We're going to do like bussing the tables, and we're going to go above and beyond. Like me personally, especially with my coordination background, like I have a very hard time just like sitting at a wedding behind the bar, like especially when I've got nothing to do, I'm set up, I'm ready, and like they don't have a coordinator and shit's just going south, and I'm like, I gotta jump in. So like I cannot help myself, and so sometimes I do that, and I'm guilty of. But I think hopefully for the few people that I've done that for, they appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be helpful to have, especially if you don't have a coordinator.
Well, when they're like going to do like their, the processional, and they're like, I don't know when to walk, and it's like, oh my God, guys, line up, shh, quiet. They're like, this is the bartender. Like, what is she doing? And then I execute it perfectly, and they're like, oh, thank God.
They got somebody else.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part of a wedding day?
I think my favorite part of my wedding, or a wedding day, not mine, would be, I'd say probably at like 8 or 9 o'clock, when people are getting a little rowdy, and like grandma and grandpa are still there, and like the aunts and uncles are there, and things start to get weird, and they start playing inappropriate music, like windows to the walls, and like Dirty Dancing comes out, and I think that's my favorite part. And just seeing like the reactions of family that has like stuck around. They're like, oh shit, it's time to go.
I should have left hours ago.
Yeah.
I've always thought that is a funny dynamic, because like the grandparents want to stay and hang out, but like people want to party.
They're like, they have this image in their mind of who this beautiful bride is supposed to be, and she's like so elegant and eloquent and like so well put together. But then at like 9 o'clock, she's like twerking, and like her high tops. So it's I think that's my favorite time.
That is pretty good. It's like the whole like the details shot, like the typical detail shot, and the after.
Yes, love those. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know why, but that is the correlation I made. What is your least favorite part of a wedding day?
Cleanup, packing up, for sure. I think every vendor would probably have that same answer. Yeah. Not only that it's over and it's ended, and that's sad, but yeah, the cleanup's the worst, for sure.
What is a common misconception couples have about bar service? I know we kind of talked about the ID, but is there any others?
Yeah, I would say that they can't afford it. I think a lot of clients are like, they look at what we have and the level of service that we do and we can provide, and they think, oh, like that's not in our budget, but really it is. If people opt for a cash bar, like all that they're paying is that setup fee. And again, like with most of the other mobile bars, we're all set at pretty much the same pricing. So basically they're paying $500 for us to show up, and of course we have a minimum as well, but yeah, I would say that's the most common misconception, is that they can't afford us. And they can. I mean, you can have an amazing bar service, or, like if you're at private property and it's a private event, like do whatever you want, and I'm honest with people about that too. Like I would love to like come and of course, like make money at your wedding. But if you're on private property and private event and you can like get away with doing your own thing, like save that money.
Yeah.
And also I tell people, like, do a cash bar. If you're so tight on your budget, just do a cash bar. Because like me as a wedding guest, if I go like and I get a couple free drinks, like I'm very appreciative. I'm stoked about it. But that couple could also opt for that cash bar and then like literally take a trip of a lifetime with a $5,000 bar tab that they didn't spend,
That's true.
So you can go both ways. I mean, you can spend all this money or you can spend, like such minimal money, but either way you get this great experience. So
yeah. So kind of going off of that, if a couple's on the fence about hiring a bar service, is that your advice, is to just do a cash bar?
Yeah. And I mean, as a business owner, like, of course, like our profits are higher on a hosted bar. People are going to, enjoy more and indulge. But, with a cash bar, yeah, I mean, there's so many ways, there's so many things that you can do to save money on a wedding. And we're one of them. You still get the same level of service. It's just who's paying the bill at the end of the night,
That's true.
Yeah.
And do you feel like when it's a cash bar, people kind of like maintain themselves a little bit better?
Absolutely. Yes. So the liability side of things and, like that, like responsible side of, things, we're also all about a cash bar. So we're happy either way to be there, but
a cash bar.
Yeah.
That's good. What's the most rewarding part of your job when it comes to working with couples on their big day?
I think that I hate to say this, especially following, I think you just did DJ Jesse D.
Yeah.
We're the favorite vendor. Normally bar is. No, I'm just kidding. No, I would say we do. Like, people are always happy to see us. Like, like we're never, your coordinator's dealing with stress and all of that, and your DJ as well. So it's like we're just there to like have a good time and like be an unpaid, in a way, unpaid psychiatrist and just hang out with your wedding guests.
Do you have a lot of people vent to you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, the conversations we get into, like when we're slower, and I'd say that's like one of my favorite parts is like just getting to like talk to the most random people, and just getting to connect with people, and people are always happy at weddings. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Except for like right before, there's like a lot of stress, but it's
for sure
through ceremony.
Once you get through the ceremony, which I always think is so funny about weddings, like you plan for all this time for like 2 years or whatever, and you spend all this money, and really your wedding is like 15 minutes long, and the rest is just a party,
which is the best part.
Absolutely.
What would you say the most fulfilling thing about being a vendor in the industry is?
I just think being able to be a part of people's special day, it's one of at least weddings, or the most important day of their lives. So to be there as like some random person, like just hanging, like being a wedding crasher, like we're there crashing, we're hanging, and to like have the privilege to just be a part of that and see so many people so happy. I think that's the best part.
How do you feel the Idaho wedding industry is as far as vendors? Do you feel like it's more community-based or more competition-based as a whole?
I think it depends on what category you're talking about. If you were a photographer, I mean, like, oh my God, it's so oversaturated. And I think it depends on what category you're talking about. For me, in my category right now, we're collaborative.
Yeah.
For the most part. Of course, we're all looking out for ourselves. But at the same time, like, I mean, I refer my girls at Boise Bartender and Swiggy all the time, and then there's new vendors that are popping up that, I mean, if you do it right and you do a great job, like I'm happy to, collaborate and send you business if I'm booked, or, vice versa. So
yeah. There's plenty of work to go around tonight.
Absolutely. And that's what, I mean, in Idaho, are you kidding? Like when it comes to weddings, and I don't know, like if I just got into it at the right time, or if like this has always been happening. But like, I just feel like in the last like 5 years, like weddings have just blown up in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess it depends on the category. So,
well, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but I was talking with another vendor, and they said that they've actually gotten a lot of like out of state people come in just for a wedding in Idaho. Like,
oh, absolutely. Oh, I would say like probably half our weddings are maybe like 40% of our weddings are probably, or at least like part of their guest list is, California. Sorry. I mean, whatever.
It's the reality.
Yeah. And you know what? They're really nice people, most of them. So who cares? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would say it's a good portion of our clients that are, or their families that are coming in from out of town.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe the best wow moment you've experienced with a couple on their big day?
Best wow moment. I think probably a wedding up in Driggs. And I brought Tilly up, and it was this woman. I had done her, I think it was like her daughter or her niece's wedding or something, but she called me and she was like, hey, you did my niece's wedding. You were amazing. We want you to come out. I'm like, oh my God, Driggs. But then I was like, okay, that's amazing. So I actually made like a little family trip out of it with my mom and my neighbor and my kids to go to Yellowstone. But I think I had Tilly set up, and I had like the Tetons in the background, and it was kind of like the wedding I'm describing in Driggs, but before, where they just had this beautiful setup in a tent, and it was just really cool to like sit there with such an incredible like picturesque background and see my cute little trailer and just.
Did you get a picture?
I did, yeah,
Oh,
and
good.
It's amazing, like these amazing photos, yeah.
You'll have to show me.
Yeah.
How do you personalize your service to match the unique vibe or theme of each couple's wedding?
I mean, I think we just kind of get to know them. We're like super open book with our clients. I mean, I don't know, like when you call me, if I've got my kids in the background, I'm like, hey, like I've got my littles with me, I'm hanging, like I'm real with my clients. I still maintain that professionalism, but also at the same time, like just super friendly.
We're working adults.
Yeah.
Kids.
Like, we're all real. Like, we're all like, and that's the great part. And I love seeing that. Like, and honestly, like, I'll bring my little girl, Charlie, with me. She loves to come with me. Obviously, I don't let her crash the weddings. But, you know, like when I do like community events or something like that, like I let her come with me and stuff. So,
yeah. I think it's definitely good to see, because I feel like there are a lot more working moms in the industry. So I feel like it's really like refreshing to see like kids being involved, because I'm just like a very big believer that they won't know how to act in that situation or in any situation with adults if they're not exposed to it.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm all about like the moms with the kids at the trade shows or like whatever, you know, like whatever you have to do to like be a working mom and have your business succeed. Like, more power to you.
I like it. What's your favorite wedding tradition?
Gosh, I mean, so many people are gonna hate this answer, but like, I really like the shoe game.
Oh, it is fun.
I mean, if it's executed correctly, it can be excruciating if it is not done correctly. It can be awful. It can be like, you know, like one of the worst parts of the night and awkward and, you know, like, but if it's done correctly, I think that it's pretty entertaining.
It is.
Yeah.
What would you say would make it successful versus not?
The right DJ, for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
And you can't just have like, oh, you know, like the worst from a coordinator's perspective is like, oh, you know, my cousin's just going to DJ my wedding. I'm like, oh my God, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You know, like you're going to get, you know what you're going to get. So yeah, I think your DJ definitely controls that and sets the vibe for it.
And we have a whole podcast episode last week on that whole experience with the DJs. So shout out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's funny, like when I do coordination, I ask, that's my first question. Like, I don't care I do care what your venue is, you know, but my first question is, who is your DJ? Because that is, besides when speaking as a coordinator, besides your coordinator, who the most important vendor is besides that, above your food, above your bar, above whoever else, is your DJ.
So what are your top 3 or 4 vendors in order?
Oh man, I would say coordinator, DJ, venue, bar. I'll put me down number 4. I mean, yes, photographer, but I mean, if you're going for more experiential and being in that moment, then that's what I would say. Yeah. If not, then yeah, I'd kick myself as a bar down to number 5 and insert photographer to number 4.
I just think it's funny because everybody I've asked so far, it's been top 3 in whatever order: venue, photographer, and planner.
Yeah.
And without a doubt, but it's,
I mean, I think DJ is so important. Like,
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have a favorite moment that stands out? Hold on, I worded this weird. Do you have a moment that you loved witnessing that stands out in your mind? In a wedding.
Gosh, I mean, I wish I could say yes, but I got nothing right now.
That's fine. We'll just cut
okay.
that. What's the most rewarding feedback you've received from a couple after their wedding?
I think this goes back to that wedding I was talking about in the Tetons. And like I said, I had previously done like her niece's wedding or something. So this was the second family member's wedding. And again, I did it myself. It was just me bartending. And so she contacted me like a week later and was like, you know, you were so amazing again. Like, we just like loved having you. Like, you're a part of our events now. Like, we can't even dream of having an event if Lindsey isn't there. And I was just like so touched by that. But she was like, yeah, my daughter's getting married and I don't know, like Britain or somewhere. And she's like, we're going to fly you out. Like, she's like, I don't care what we need to do. If you're just there pouring the drink, she's like, we have to have you there. And I'm like, oh my God, like, that's amazing. But I'm like, part of these people's like lives for every big moment that they have, they think of me, which is like, you know, complete strangers, but also, I don't know, kind of connected for life.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Yeah.
Has she gotten married or engaged?
Not yet, no.
Oh. That's so exciting, though.
I know. I'm like, cool. I was like, yeah, fly me to wherever. I will do whatever and take a vacation and hang with you and your family. Absolutely.
Right. That's so fun. What is one of the most challenging wedding day situations you've handled?
I think it's like always the same thing, probably. Well, 2 things, you know, the IDing people thing. If people don't have their ID, it's like, and I mean, it's the worst when it's like the maid of honor or like the best man. And like, I'm sorry, like, but it's literally, it's our liability on the line. Like, it is my liability. It's my brick and mortar's liability. Like, I mean, we cannot mess around when it comes to that stuff. So I would say IDing people and over-serving people, like having to cut people off. You know, like, it's a wedding and they want to have a good time and they want to, like, indulge and have drinks, which is fine, you know, but, like, there's a certain level. And once those people reach that level and, you know, like, Aunt Linda's been, you know, giving a speech for 25 minutes and, like, she's hammered and then she comes to the bar and it's like, you know, and she's, like, one of the VIPs. And, of course, people get upset. And, I mean, so I would say that's, like, that's the worst. But
for those who don't know, can you explain the brick and mortar part of things?
Yeah, so basically, this is the hardest part so there are no mobile bars technically. There are no mobile bar laws in Idaho right now. Idaho Code 23, you know, pertains to all of the alcohol service and everything in Idaho, selling, serving, dispensing. And then every county and everyone is different, like, depending on your municipality and what their local laws are. It's such a gray area. We actually just did a mobile bar training like 2 weeks ago with Boise bartenders. And then we had Heidi.
ISP?
Yeah, with ISP. And then we had Heidi and Jonathan from Ira and Lucy. And then Angie and Marshall from White Barn. But I mean, like, just trying to educate people with everything. So with the brick and mortar, like, essentially we are an extension of the brick and mortar. So we're an extension of the Tower Grill, which is amazing. Shameless plug. Like, go check it out.
Is that?
It's at the Nampa Airport.
That's what I was.
Yeah. So it's on the second floor, but it's really cool. You can go, like, have amazing breakfast or lunch, dinner some days, and just watch the planes take off and stuff. But yeah, it's complicated and there's a lot more to it than that. But I
think a lot of people don't understand that or know.
Well, no, and that's why, like, oh my gosh, there's a mobile bar that's popping up literally like every month probably right now in the Valley. And then that's why we're getting phone calls. I swear, every summer we're getting phone calls because they started to tighten down in 2023. So in 23 and 24, we started getting phone calls like 2 weeks before people's weddings that are like, our certified bartender couldn't get their permit. Well, because they don't have a license, because there is no such thing as a licensed bartender. So people are calling us scrambling, like, we're going to have a dry wedding unless you can get a permit in time. And so it's become, if people are like, you know, if I've been having a conversation with a client and they're like, hey, we decided to go a different route. I'm like, that's amazing. That's great. You know, like, you find the vendor that fits you. There's plenty of business to go around. We said that, you know, it's like, you find who fits you. And if our personality or whatever doesn't fit, move along. But I'm always like, be careful with who you go with, because you could end up having zero alcohol at your wedding if you choose a licensed bar that doesn't actually have a license, you know, and then they're serving illegally. And then there's huge liability on the line, not only for you, but your venue. And, like, ugh, I mean, it's messy. Yeah.
So for couples looking for a mobile bar service, what is the thing that they need to make sure that service has? Like what's the version?
So it depends. So, I mean, if you're at a venue, a place of commerce, then you have to have a licensed bar service come in. So it has to be somebody that either has a license through their brick and mortar or, like us, is an extension of the brick and mortar. I would say just basically do your homework and find, you know, make sure that person is actually licensed.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. What would you say, getting on a more positive note, not that was negative, but what's a trend in bartending that you're living right now? Our world.
I think I think this goes to like everything about weddings right now. I think everything, and like life in general, I think everything is just becoming like so experiential with people, to like have like immersive kind of things at your wedding, whether it's the audiobook, you know, where people are leaving, you know, rather than a guest book, or, you know, like the 360 photo booths or whatever, or like the weird drink walls where the hands are like popping out, you know, or they're like,
I saw that.
I don't know if I love them or if I hate them. I mean, I don't know. But I think like just like the experience for people, I think is going to be huge in 25. Yeah. And I like just exaggerative things too.
Me too. Yeah. I've talked about this before, but I am so ready to see the drama. Like,
yeah, that's what it is.
Everything, not just like, and I have respect for the minimalist thing, because like, it's aesthetic and I like it, but give me the drama.
Absolutely. I'm with you. Absolutely.
Is there a trend that you're not loving right now?
I mean, so it's a love-hate thing, I think. The cherry red. So I know there's the mocha mousse, for the year, and it's nice and subdued, and I love that. But also, like, there's this cherry red thing that's happening, and I love it so much. But it can be done very wrong also at the same time. It can be very tasteful and fun, but it can also be cheesy.
Yeah.
So I think it's a love-hate there.
Yeah. Do you have any general wedding trends that you're loving?
I mean, I think, like you said, like the drama, like I think for 25, like the big drapery and like the exaggerative centerpieces and like the, I don't know, like the centipede tables and, the more focal points and drama and experience, I think all that.
Yeah. What's a small detail that makes a huge difference on the wedding day?
A small detail makes a huge difference. Gosh. I mean, if we're talking bar service, I would say garnishes. Like the dehydrated fruit is really big right now, or like the floral garnishes and things like that. Such a small detail, and you could have a really pretty, colorful drink, but then you add that into it. I mean, you get the visual, you get the effervescent, I mean, you get the multi-sensory kind of thing. So
yeah, I'm actually really liking that too. I think just how everything is so like detail oriented and thought out. It's my favorite right now.
Yep, love it.
How do you balance staying organized and being flexible on a wedding day?
I mean, I think execution obviously is like the most important, and just like not letting your clients or anybody, whether it's your clients or the guests or whomever, even your other vendors, like unless you really need help, like just don't let them see you like slipping, just if you have problems and you have issues, like keep it controlled and keep it, like under wraps as much as you can, unless you really need help. And that is like going back to like the friender and, vendor community thing is like with vendors, like people are at weddings, we're all just like there to help each other. Like if we have extra time, like, or if I'm struggling and there's an amazing catering company and I know that they're tip certified and I need a hand, like a lively chef, like they're always just like amazing. Like they just want to, it's like basically having like extra employees there. When you have like certain, vendors that are there, like you just know it's going to be like dream team, like you're going to smash it. Like they're going to help you. You're going to collaborate. It's going to be amazing.
Do you have dream team vendors? Like
I do. And you know what? I thought about this and like I want to plug people and I do, but I also don't, like, I don't know.
Jesse did it, so go ahead.
I mean, I love the Rustic Daisy. I mean, they're brand new. Cody's amazing. And I mean, it's going to get better and better and better. It's going to be kind of like how Mint Barrel, like, and Deer Flat, they started, at a certain point and they just like became amazing. And I think Cody's doing the same thing. So as a venue, yes, I love DJ Jesse D. I love Eric Rhodes. I love working with Soundwave. Some of our planners we love. I love Amy White. We love Shelby Donald.
I just had Amy this week.
Oh, did you? Yeah, love her. I don't know. I mean, everyone's amazing. It's tough to say, but those are a few of our favorites.
Those are good choices. Can you share a behind the scenes moment that only those in the industry would get?
Oh God, absolutely. Yes. And it was this wedding up in Sun Valley, like total mom moment. This is wedding up in Sun Valley. So of course, like my littles are at home and I think my baby was like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 months at the time. And it was this like very, very high end, huge budget wedding. And I was doing the coordination and the bar service for it. So me and my team were there and they had dinner and it was filet mignon, so I was like stoked for this delicious dinner.
Yeah.
But also like I needed to pump at the same time because I was nursing. So like we're like, they've got the vendor table all set up and all the vendors are down there eating. And it was a big team, like ton of people for this wedding. And I walked down there and I was like, I do not have time to sit anywhere else. I have to eat and I have to pump. So I'm like literally walking around with like tubes hanging out of my shirt, like slamming my filet mignon. And like people are like, whatever, like they got it. They didn't care. Yeah. They're like, do you, girl, whatever you got to do. So
that's good.
Yeah. Thanks for the understanding on that one, vendors who was there.
Oh, I don't miss pumping.
Yeah.
On a different note, I stopped as soon as
Again, shout out to the moms, you know, who get this.
I know, sorry, tangent. As soon as I stopped working, I stopped pumping, and I was like, thank God.
Yeah, it was tough.
If you could give every couple one piece of advice before their big day, what would it be?
Just be in the moment. Don't worry. Don't sweat the small details. Like, things are going to go wrong. And if you have an amazing coordinator or amazing, vendor team, like, they're going to pick up the pieces, and hopefully you won't even know. But if you do notice, just don't sweat it. There's nothing that you can do. Like, just be present, because like, most weddings are 4 to 10, so they're literally, you've got 6 hours. You're going to blink and it's going to be over. So like, just like revel in like every second that you can.
Yeah, I agree. What's something that often gets overlooked in the wedding planning phase but makes a huge difference when done right?
Gosh, I mean, I think like bride and groom, like, actually eating, you can be like, oh, like, this is what time we're going to do this. Dinner's at this time, but when the time actually comes, like, nobody ever eats. Like, the bride and groom are never eating. Mom's never eating. The important people that are like, clutch part of the dream team, from the client side, like, people not eating. So like, eat your dinner, people. Like, that's one thing. Like, as a coordinator, we're always like, you have to eat, because it can end. I've had.
Well, and then like, if you don't pack anything to go at the end of the night, everything's closed.
Yep.
Anyways, and there's all the.
Well, that's one of my favorite wedding trends. Oh my gosh, is like the late night snackies. I'm all about the late night snackies. So I did a wedding out. It was Creekside Affair, and they had ramen, like hot. Awful, awesome. 25-cent, like disgusting ramen, and like all kinds of like Tabasco and stuff, and it, like this hot serve. It was amazing, and it was like the perfect thing, and like easy on the budget. Kept people in line because they were a rowdy crowd, like they were drinking a lot. So I was like, perfect. I'm all about that like late night snacky.
Yeah, that is, and like the Taco Bell and like McDonald's, like
all about it. Pizza, yeah.
Because then it makes for the great after shot of the after
again, yes,
detail shot. How do you stay updated with trends in your industry while still keeping things unique for each couple?
I mean, I think there's so many trends that are just, I actually did trend forecasting when I went to Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandise in LA, and trend forecasting was one of my things that I focused on, and even in that part of things, like, you can predict, so many trends that are happening, but they're all going to be so different. So again, like, back to that cherry red and the mocha mousse, like, you're talking about 2 total different trends this year that we're going to see it everywhere. But just like the versatility of the 2 of them is, I don't know, different and fun and like unpredictable. And
the one thing I will say about the cherry, I love the white cakes with the little cherries on it. I didn't like it at first, but I'm like, that is actually
well, and you can do like, gosh, it was Gabby Sharp and Amy, and we did like this adorable like Hollywood themed shoot out at Hidden Gem, and it was kind of, and this was last season, so look at us, we're like trend forecasters setting trends here. But it was like pops of like cherry red with like her lipstick and stuff, and it was kind of like old school glam, but we had pictures of her like in white sunglasses and like a cherry or like a Coke bottle and pizza, and it was adorable. It's really cute.
You'll have to send me those, because I'll put in like in the podcast video, I'll put in like what we're talking about.
Oh, cool.
Like the Tetons one.
Oh, amazing.
I'll put that when we talk about it.
Cool. I love that.
I just thought about that. So if it doesn't look well, oops. Speaking of trends, how do you see the wedding industry evolving over the next 5 to 10 years?
I mean, I think it's just going to continue to be explosive. I think like Boise's growing like crazy, so the industry is just going to grow like crazy. And to clients, I mean, that's amazing for clients, but that's also kind of scary for clients, because it's like, holy shit, like, I've got, 75 different day of coordinators, or, like 35 different bar vendors to pick from. Like, how do I know? Who do I pick from? So
hopefully this helps.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like, if you're in this little community, like, if you know, and once it's funny, like, once you talk to these clients and you're like, oh, who else did you book? Like, out of curiosity, who's on your vendor team? And it's like, I love when people are like, this is who I've got, and I'm like, nailed it. That's amazing. You're going to have a great day. And to like, as a vendor, to be able to like reassure them that like people are like, God, that's so great to hear. Like, that's like a weight off my shoulders, know?
I also think, and I've said it time and time again, not with you, but on the podcast, ask your vendors who their recommendations are, because everybody has a list.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter. Like, ask your photographer who they think the best like photo booth is. Like, you know, it is connected, but it's not. Or like ask your photographer who the best bar service is, you know, like totally unconnected, but they're gonna know. Like if they're doing weddings every single weekend, you know, we all see each other and how each other are working, you know. There's some vendors who they're good at what they do, and you're gonna get, you know, what you pay for. And I mean that goes for any service. With the bar service, like I said, we're so collaborative and we're all priced at pretty much the same. And I think coordination is kind of like that as well. And maybe not photographers. You get a huge range with photographers, and venues, I guess, is another great example. Like you can get away with paying a very minimal amount, or, you know, you're going to get what you pay for with a lot of these vendors. So like, I know a lot of times like there's sticker shock, but it also comes with the value if you do your research.
What would you say a good price range for bar services? So that way they kind of know, like, if they're under it, what they can expect, like, the lesser quality to be or above.
Sure. So, I mean, if you're doing that cash bar, like most people are going to charge $500. That's for them to show up. That's going to be for your bartender, your tip certified license, you know, under their brick and mortar licensed bartender, cups, ice, straws, napkins, your permit, your insurance, the liability, everything like that. So that's going to cover your $500 or your $500 setup fee. And then from there, it depends. So if you're doing a hosted tab, basically the way that we break it down, we don't operate on a package pricing, and a lot of our competitors do. And people are like, oh, that seems so much easier. I had to pay $20 per person, easy, done. Yeah. And it's like, sure, that sounds great and that sounds easy, but at the same time, like, it's totally unpredictable. In a lot of circumstances, because I tried it, in a lot of circumstances, it ended up working great for me because I was overcharging, basically. Or there are a lot of times where it didn't work out for me and I'm doing a vandal wedding and these people are drinking everything out of my inventory and they should have paid a hell of a lot more than $20 per person. So pricing wise, that kind of varies. But so we operate on a per drink pricing basis. So think about it like if you're doing a hosted tab, you're walking into a bar, you're opening up a tab like you would at any bar downtown. You're giving them your card, you set a limit or we do whatever. There's so many different ways to work it out. But basically, if you have 100 guests, we say you have an average drink price of $8, say 2 to 3 drinks per person, you're looking at around like $1,600 to $2,400. Then you have to add your gratuity on that, and then that setup fee. So most of the time, if you're about 100-person wedding and you're moderate drinkers, you're looking at around like $3,000.
Okay. And
but again, then that varies. Like I said, you know, and it's funny, I like have almost tried to like work this in as an example when I ask clients, like, are you guys moderate drinkers, you light, heavy, or are you vandals? Because like literally, like I've done weddings and it's like I'm out of booze and like and I rarely ever run out of alcohol.
Yeah.
And it literally only happens when it's vandals. And I'm like, why wouldn't you tell me that you guys that I'm serving 200 vandals? Like I would have, you know, prepped for 600 people rather than, you know, what I did. So it all varies, but the package pricing works for some people, and I think they like just the easy breakdown of the math, but I don't like it. It just doesn't work out. So,
but with the package pricing, is it pretty much the same of what to expect as far as cost?
It is, yeah. And it break it down, and it breaks down if you're doing beer, wine, and liquor. You know, usually about like $20 a person if you do the house options. Okay. So like you're doing domestic beers, you're doing house wines, and you're doing like basic pours.
Okay. Last question. Oh, wait, hold on. There's 2 more questions. What's something about bartending or the bar service that surprises most couples when they get into the details?
Just the level, what they can get. I mean, most people just think that like you're going to show up and you get beer, wine, and you can have some seltzers and you've got to have like some coolers out there. And no, I mean, you can have this like beautiful experience. Come to the Crush Collective, which is happening, I think it's March 16th. Do not quote me.
What they know. What's the date? Okay.
March 16th. Yeah. So like we're collaborating. We're doing booth buddies with Flutter Bar Rentals. And so they're bringing like one of their beautiful bars with like these beautiful like pedestals on the side and then like this like incredible back shelving. So like you can have this like incredible, beautiful experience rather than just having a table with a black linen thrown up and, you know, like some drinks out there. And whatever, if that's your vibe and you're having like a backyard wedding and that's what you want, like you want us to like bring a table and a linen, like, and we can wear overalls and a t-shirt, like, and a cowgirl hat, like, heck yeah, we're going to come and we're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
If you want us to come out and have, you know, something like this Flutter bar rental, you know, and have us, you know, in black tie, like, you know, we can do that. It depends on what level your event is at and what your vibe is. And
do you think because it's mobile, people expect like more casual?
I think people expect less. Yeah. And it definitely, I mean, it has its restrictions, but it doesn't mean, you know, just because of transportation and storage and your space. But it doesn't mean that you can't have this like beautiful experience, like multi-sensory, you know, like not only just like visually, but like, you know, like when you walk up to the bar, you hear, you know, music playing in the background, like it smells good. It smells like mint. It smells like fresh herbs or citrus or whatever, you know, like it can be this great experience.
Last question. What is one piece of advice you'd give to couples just starting their wedding planning journey?
Oh gosh, I mean, start early. People are always blown away when they're like, I mean, you're probably not booking into 26 yet. I'm like, yeah. Like we're like halfway booked in 26. So like start early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say like the earlier the better and enjoy it. Like don't let planning be stressful. And once you do get that dream team, like it should be like a weight off your shoulders. And, you know, I mean, it should be a great day. Like it should be a day to like not have a worry in the world and just enjoy.
Yeah. Well, and another really important thing, like you pick your vendors, trust them.
Absolutely. And you know, and for the most, like if you feel that connection, that personality connection with those people, like they're going to follow through. They're going to, you know, they're going to impress you. There are very, very, very few vendors in this valley that disappoint people. And if you do, like, I'm sure people know exactly what scenario that I'm talking about right now. Like people are going to, unfortunately, like put you on blast and like, it's not going to go good. And, you know, like, so we're all very supportive of each other, but like, these are people's like most important days, like we talked about, like, so you cannot let them down.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And congratulations to you and everything that you're doing. It's amazing. And like round of applause to you. Really. I mean, it's awesome.
It's been a lot more than I ever expected, but it's been fun.
It's amazing.